Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of a technical issue on my end with it. Today, we're going to be watching the race against Millay and Psyched. Psyched's PB is 31 something. I did not have a chance to look up Millay's PB. I was having a lot of technical issues. If anyone knows and want to tell me, I'd very much appreciate it. Thank you for that. I was going to look at that, but I'm not 100% sure because I know a lot of players haven't been updating it because they've been PBing so much with everything. So we've already gotten through Prologue. We're going to get started on City. City is a pretty straightforward level in the very beginning. Everything is pretty much almost the same on every single screen. It basically introduces you to the basic mechanics of jumping and dashing, but there are certain mechanics that you can use in every single screen. Sometimes you'll see them use wave dashes, really quickly just jump and dash through the air, or just like that, a reverse dash, go over that gap and skip a little bit there. Both players are nearly at the same position right now, making really good, decent time, and only 30 seconds in. Oh, crud. Oh, okay. Using this audio. So we are using Millay's audio, and Millay has no audio, and I cannot switch it to Psyched. Give me 1 second. I'll see if I can fix it, guys. Mm. Both players are going to start up level 2. Level 2 is a two-part instance. I still am trying to get the game audio working, guys. I'm sorry. All right, we should be back in business now then. Yeah. Thank you, Walsh. Just let it be known that, stuff like this happens every single time. Nothing's going to be perfect. Same thing with speedrunning yourself. Not everything's going to go exactly the right way. And that's the good thing about Celeste. No matter how much we try, perfection's never right around the corner. Both players have been pretty decent time, though, almost neck and neck. Millay is just a little bit behind Psyched right now, but the gap can all change in the minute of an instant, especially going deeper onto this game. Old Side, as I was trying to say, is a two-part level. The first part's a dream where you meet Battlein for the first time. It introduces the mechanic of dream blocks, which gives us a little bit of it. We'll get more of them later when we get into Summit. Millay is coming up to the second part as well. Psyched is just streaming right on through. We'll be able to have some more encouraging commentary when we get to Resort. Both players still really close to each other, though. These players only have a 24-second PB difference, according to speedruns. So this should be a very, very close match. And those are always fun. Both players are making good progress at the start of Resort. Resort is a pretty straightforward level, but it's also one of the most frustrating levels, especially casually. It's going to introduce moving objects that can kill you, cycle patterns when you first enter a room compared to if you die in a room for death cycles. Oop. Every single room has 2 cycles, as I mentioned. There's no RNG that's involved in Celeste, which is another reason why I prefer it myself as a speed game as well as a lot of others, is because it's all about learning mechanics and then perfection and just trying to better yourself at every single time. Every single room doesn't have one straightforward strat that you can do. There's a differentiation of everything that you can do. Just like you saw Psyched did a wave dash there, Millay did almost the same thing but then dashed up on there. Still a very tight race. The very first part that we're going to do, we meet Oshiro when we go inside. And basically, he tasks us with cleaning up a big mess, the best way to put it. We're going to have 3 instances. The most optimal route is down, up, and right. And that just spawns you to where Oshiro is next. You can do this room, though, or rooms, in any set order that you like. Casually, I think I did middle up top. And each time that you do a certain different pattern, it's going to remove other stuff. As you can see, there's towels, books, and then just random clutter. Both players are still neck and neck. All runners do not play on PC. It's entirely up to preference, though. What you just saw Psyched do, we'll see if Millay gets it too. Oop. Second try. Always the first try, no matter what. Is a little spike clip. Spike's hitboxes are actually only going towards them. When a spike is at a wall, if you go beneath the wall, you're actually kicking the wall and not the spike. So it gives you the illusion that, hey, I can jump off of spikes. Hence the name Spike Jump. It's a really cool mechanic. You'll see it used a couple more times as we go. Oop. Also, if you dash upwards towards a wall and you hold jump, it allows you to do a wall kick. That'll give you extra momentum like Millay did. Psyched is now starting on the middle section, which introduces Theo yet again inside Resort. Every single character in this is going to have a reoccurring issue. Theo's going to be a main character later on in one of the levels with everyone's favorite. Both players are only about 8 seconds apart, maybe 10, with a slight differentiation in time. Still a very close race. The whole aspect of Resort is basically to get to the top to the Presidential Suite. Getting to the top of the Presidential Suite allows us to continue climbing the mountain, which we didn't get to explain. As Made Worker said, there's not very many changes that are different between running on console, PC, other than versions differences, and I believe like load time on a slow PC, but it's like bare minimal because it uses in-game time. It would only be if you were to overload it. I've only heard 2 runners ever talk about that ever. Psyched and Millay are getting ready to come up to the longer screens. Psyched is nearing the very end of Resort. When we go up to the roof, basically without spoiling the story too much, if you haven't played this game, it's a great game to play casually. It has an unparalleled story. Basically, Battle Link comes out and angers Oshiro, and Oshiro gets very mad, and now he's chasing us. Very action-filled. Oshiro is not RNG, as I said before, this game has no RNG in it. So every single instance is just purely patterns. The very first pattern on when you enter a room, Oshiro's always going to do the same thing, no matter what and how you move. When you die, Oshiro's changes will be just a little bit off of what they would be when you enter the room. Celeste is basically just all about practicing your own movement and learning the cycles in rooms. Psyched is coming up here to the very end of Resort. definitely the longest screen. Millay's not very far behind. Both players are making pretty decent time so far. And by pretty decent, I mean really good. Psyched is going to be coming up here and starting Golden Ridge. Golden Ridge is the 4th level. It's also one of the shortest. It's, in fact, not counting Prologue, the 2nd shortest level in the game, time-wise. It's a very straightforward level, and it introduces the wind mechanic. Wind mechanic will either go against you lightly and stop you, or, sorry, slow you down, or very hard, which makes it near impossible to move. The only real way to counter it is to use your dash. And they're also going to introduce the wind that pushes you forward. The cool thing about this level, even though it does have wind, it's an unpopular mechanic, unbiased opinion, is that it allows you to do some movements that you wouldn't be able to see. You're going to be able to traverse larger gaps. You're going to be able to go up, like the neutral wall climb that Psyched's doing right now. He doesn't lose any stamina at all because of the thing. Psych just did another spike jump like we mentioned earlier. See if he goes for this one. Very good. Got 2 of them in a row. And as we mentioned, basically, there's little strats that you can do with every single room. Like, there's an auto-scroller skip that you can do here that's very difficult. And, oh, Psyched went for it. Some tricks are extremely difficult. Some of them just take a lot of practice, and then others are near impossible. Oh, good job, Psyched. 2nd try. See if Millay goes for that when they get to the screen up there. And I really hope I'm saying that name right. Golden Ridge is basically divided up into sort of a beginning and an end. During the end, the wind's going to be much more furious, and it's also going to introduce snowballs. Snowballs, again, no RNG. They go on set patterns. As you play and you learn the pattern, you can use them to your advantage, because when you hit them, you're going to get your dash back. Let's see if Millay goes for it. Got the first one. See if they go for the auto-scroller skip. Psych did a little one there as well. There's little tiny skips just like that that save just a little bit of time overall. And in the course of this game, it adds up dramatically. Oh. 2nd time's a charm. Psyched is now entering sort of basically the beginning. We're going to start seeing the wind be more ferocious and vigorous. And we're also going to be introduced to snowballs, as I mentioned before. Oh. This is a very hard trick that Millay is trying to do. Fourth try? No. Always first try. Even if it doesn't look like first try, it's always first try. Psyched coming up on the end of Golden Ridge, making decent time, not very far behind their PB. Oh. Psyched is going to go ahead and start Mirror Temple. Mirror Temple is another level that's kind of divided into a beginning and an end, so to say. There's one major skip in here. Door skip. Not door skip, I'm sorry. Key skip allows you to skip a decently large portion of the level. And it's really, honestly, the biggest time save in the entire run. It's a very easy trick, too, once you get it down. It looks very daunting, but all it is about 3 inputs. See if Millay gets it this time. Good job, Millay. First time every time. Mirror Temple is a very confusing level casually. Your first playthrough, especially if you haven't watched someone do it and you don't know the route, you can get lost in here. In fact, this is kind of where I said I don't want to play this game casually anymore. I want to speedrun it. There's a developer-intended skip right here. And the reason why it's developer intended is if you grab the key and don't use it, it actually allows you to get a berry in the next room. Millay is making decent time catching back up. It's still anyone's game, though, at the end of it. Psyched is now going to be entering the in the mirror part. Basically, in the mirror, the best way to put Mirror Temple, it kind of takes all of your own negativity, feelings, hatred, everything like that, and subsidizes it into real-life objects. Wow, Psyched made really good time in that section, controlling the Seeker. Seekers are going to be introduced as well here very shortly after 4 quick cutscenes skips with Madeline and Badeline. Just like that. No story in the speedrun. You'll see a Seeker on the next screen. These were introduced at the beginning. Each one of those that has a little dot in it, they only move when you dash yourself. You can use them to get major boosts in speed, get to areas that you couldn't normally get to, or at even times just fling yourself in. Seekers, when they're blue like that, as you can see on Psyched's screen currently, they're inactive and mobile. Sometimes they'll just kind of float, sometimes they'll move up and down a little bit, but that's really about all they'll do. When they turn red, it means they've locked on a Madeline and they're going to chase you. Seekers don't have RNG again. It's all about where you are and where you move to. As you can see, you'll see it coming up in just a little bit. Just like that, Psyched did a dash there to hit the Seeker into the button. Seekers act as though they are Madeline themselves. As I said, you can jump on them, you'll get your dash back, it'll replete your stamina, but they can also press buttons as well as give you a slight boost. Oh! I have never seen that happen from Psyched. That is a first for me. Millay making decent time, starting Mirror Temple, not very far behind again. Very good job. There are 3 keys in that section, and you actually only need 2 of them to advance. The third one, it will actually unlock that strawberry right there that you see on Psyched's screen. But doing the skip there, which was not necessarily developer intended, they may have known that you could do it. It allows you to completely skip getting any of the keys, or just getting 1 if you want to get the berry. We're going to start the Theo section now. With Theo, you can't run and you can't actually climb. You can, however, neutral wall jump and throw Theo. And Theo acts as though he's Madeline or a Seeker again. He can press buttons, but he won't give you your dash back. The doors on the right to advance to the next screen only open up when Theo is close. And if you actually throw Theo the opposite way, the doors will close. Hopefully we don't see any of that today. Good recovery from Psyched. Looks like Millay's going to be starting in the mirror section. And as you saw right there, Psyched used him to activate the button. Psyched is now on the last screen. See how he chooses to approach this. Gonna go the up route. And that's a good thing. In certain instances of the game, there's more than one route you can take. You'll see it coming up in the next level that there's different routes that you can take, and they're all going to lead to the same thing. Some of them occasionally have strawberries or the hearts, or the cassette, I'm sorry. But each one at the end of the day is always going to take you to where you need to go, which allows for a lot of optimization, as well as most certainly what just the player themselves likes or is more comfortable with. So basically, we skip along cutscene there that introduces the concept of feathers with Madeline fighting her own anxiety. Feathers allow you to fly, and you control them, and it's a set amount. You can keep getting feathers to extend it. Ooh, let's see if Psyched goes for it. Ooh, lake skip. Very nice, Psyched. As you can see, there's going to be a lot of the feather mechanic introduced here. You'll see it again in Summit after we're done with this. But it also introduces Kevin blocks. I can't do a good Kevin, I'm sorry. Optimal movement with the feather is very hard. As you see, like Psyched just did, you can literally grab those 2 feathers, and if you're just barely off, the other one will expire, and you'll have to go through and watch the sequence of re-entering the feather. We mentioned neutral wall jumping very slightly earlier, and as you saw, Psyched just covered that wall. Allowing to do neutral wall jumps saves probably about 20 seconds to have to go over to the left side, climb, and then go down, unlock a feather, and then fly up. Neutral wall jump just involves holding the grab button and then jumping against the wall, letting go of the control pad, and then jumping back. So basically, you just return the control stick to neutral. Reflections, the best way to describe it, as I always say, is it's basically two halves becoming whole to work as one. We're going to see the first boss fight in quotations coming up here in just a little bit on the Psyched screen, and then shortly after on Millay's screen. Millay is making decent time through Mirror Temple, trying to catch back up some of the lost time. It's still anybody's game, no matter how far ahead one player might be. Alright, Psyched coming up on the next part, where Grandma basically tells you to go meet Battleon and basically confront yourself. This area actually has 3 developer-intended skips. The first one right here, where you fall. The second one where you dash and you fall. And those 2 are very easy. The third one's a little bit harder. If you die on the third one without getting the checkpoint slightly above, which it only takes a few seconds to go grab it, you have to go all the way back to the very start of the screen. Because by doing the skip, you actually skip the checkpoint markers. Can be a little bit risky. Let's see if Psyche's going to go for riding the Kevin straight in and go hit Battleon right in the face like a semi. Oh, very good job. Millay got leg skip too. Close. Using the momentum from the Kevin allowed the player to skip quite a big little gap there. Psyched is now starting the Battleon fight. To summarize, Battleon's hitbox is... does it even have a hitbox is the better question. There are times when you feel like you should completely miss and you get pulled in and hit her. And there's other times where you feel like it should be a hit and you'll just completely miss. She has kind of a gravitational pull effect. Basically, you're now confronting Battleon and trying to get her to help you, which consults with you just ramming your head and body against her several times throughout the course of this part. The first phase of Battleon isn't necessarily very hard. It kind of introduces you to the fact that she can shoot little lasers, and she also has a laser beam. The second phase, after she tells you that she's not a mountain climber, introduces telekinetic powers and moving rocks, which allow you to do some rooms very fast, but very risky. Psyched is almost to the second part of the... Millay's making decent time through reflections, getting closer to Battleon. Oh. The hardest thing about this at times is that if you take a death on a very long room, you almost always have to redo that very long room, and there's several costly ones. That was one of them in this game. Now Battleon's basically entering phase 2. As you can see, you're going to start moving blocks You could go up or down. If you dashed at the correct time, you'll be able to go underneath, like Psyched did. Psyched is making decent time through, and Millay the same as well. Almost caught up to the battle line fight. Uh-oh. Psyched is now on the last room. The last room, as we mentioned, is one of those costly ones that you just don't want to die. Going fast can be very scary in it. Psyched now basically joined forces with Battle, and basically, as we mentioned, two halves becoming whole, and you get an extra dash. The extra dash is a great mechanic, and it gives you a lot more things that you can do, which you'll see a little bit coming out in the next part of Summit. Psyched is now starting Summit. Summit is composed of different sections. Each one is going to start with 500 increments. So you start with the base, then you're going to go to 500 meters, 1,000 meters, and 1,500 meters, and each is a nod to the previous levels that you played. With mechanics. The only mechanic that really doesn't come back is inside Mirror Temple at 2,500, you won't see any Seekers. Millay is getting close to battling as well, almost done with that section. Psyched so far making decent time through 500 meters. Throughout each instance, you're going to see little skips like that are kind of developer intended. They're not actually skips or breaking anything, but like you saw Psyched did, it allowed him to basically skip that, riding an elevator, and go straight up. You'll be able to see another one right here, skipping, holding the block, and literally just completing the stage. Same thing with skipping that one right there. (1,000 meters). As we mentioned earlier, it reintroduces dream blocks. A cool mechanic that's never really introduced in the A side of Old Site is that you can actually hyper dash, or is it ultra dash? It's one of the two, I'm sorry, out of a dream block, which gives you a big boost of speed, just like that the Psyched did. But just with one dash during Old Site, you don't really see a lot of use of it, if any. Millay making good time on the very last, the very last room of reflections. I can't talk now, apparently. Psyched now entering 1,500 meters. Again, showing off everything that's cycle-based. Oh, that was really close. Almost ran out of stamina. Good recovery, though. And as you can see, what Psyched just did right there, instead of pushing the button, it allowed him to skip waiting and go straight through the room, which can, moving fast, can be very dangerous at times. Especially on a death cycle, where the cycles are off tangent of what you're used to. The good thing about it, though, is if you enter and re-enter a room, it will reset the cycles. but not every single room that's possible in. Good recovery though. Getting ready to finish up 1,500 meters, move on to 2,000. Millay's getting close to 500 meters themselves. What Psyched did there was go for a berry in a sense. Again, another developer intended thing. It actually skips 2 rooms. So doing that route is actually much faster than taking the direct forward route that the game shows you. See if Psyched goes for this skip up here. Another auto-scroller skip. Got the first part of it. And they get a spike jump. Very good. Nice little skip there. Nice recovery from Millay right there. Millay also doing very well, getting ready to hit up to 1,000 meters. Psyched is nearly done with 2,000 though. $2,500 meters introduces again almost everything from Mirror Temple except for the secrets themselves. See if Psyched goes for this. By using 2 neutral wall jumps and then both dashes, you can actually skip going down below and then riding a bubble up to grab the key. Very good use. Millay starting 1,500 meters now. Very good thread in the needle from Psyched. See if Psyched's going to go for a door skip. Door skip achieve. Psyched is now going to start 3,000 meters. 3,000 meters is basically one gigantic screen compared to the rest of them. Basically, each checkpoint acts as though you're entering and exiting the next screen. So each checkpoint will allow you to go back. There's a few checkpoints during this part that you can skip, and if you do skip a checkpoint and you die, you go back to the last checkpoint that you achieved. Downdraft is the very first section of 3,000. It's also one of the most frustrating. It drains your stamina very quickly, and it also makes you fall very easily, of course, a downdraft. It makes the platform in Celeste that feels really fluid, at times difficult. Psyched is making a really good time through it though. Millay not doing bad, getting ready to come up to the end of 2,000 meters. The next part of Summit is Updraft. Updraft, basically the complete opposite of Downdraft. It pushes you upwards, which as you can see, allows you to increase how high you would jump with your jumps and then your dashes as well. There's a really cool spike skip coming up here that you'll see Psyched do shortly. That is only possible because of Updraft, just like that. That jump is only possible because of Updraft. Really cool mechanic. Unlike Downdraft. See if Psyched goes for it. Oh. Very good. There's a checkpoint skip here to save probably half a second. Let's see if Psyched goes for it. Nope, getting the checkpoint to be safe. Millay now starting 2,500 meters. Still making decent time through Summit. Psyched is coming up on the end. Can Psyched get the sub 33? Oh, it's going to be really close now. Looks like we're going to see a sub 33 though. 32:55. Not very far off their PB, which is actually still a really good time for a race. There's no resetting allowed. You're just going straight forward and you're doing one run. Very good time. Millay not very far behind in 3,000 meters. That was an amazing run, Psyched. Absolutely amazing. Let's see if we can get Psyched in here for an interview because we can't switch the audio because Millay's is unusable. Okay, we switched it back. So we should be good. What says the mighty Psyches? Will we get them in here? Let's see if we can get Psyched in here for an interview.
Hello.
Oh, there we go. Hello, Psyched.
Oh, what a run.
What a run. It was still a great run, though. A very good run, even with all the technical difficulties.
Yeah, I mean, the time is okay, definitely, but I don't know, it felt so slow and I died so much. Like 31 times.
True, but you can't beat yourself up on it. It was still a sub 33, which is really great for resetting.
I mean, I'm really happy with the 32 at the moment. Like, that's okay, definitely.
Yep. Where do you feel was like your best section though during this run? They all looked decently well.
Oh, probably the first part of without 3K. Like I died a couple times in the ultra room in 1.5, but apart from that, that was a pretty decent, decent part of the run, I would say.
Very good, understandable. And
that is also the only the only part of the run where I didn't lose time. I actually gained 5 seconds compared to my PB, but I lost time on every other split.
Oh, that's really good then. Do you know who your next race is going to be yet, or is that still to be determined?
It is Gross Icon, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
And probably will be next weekend if he has some free time there. We'll see.
Very nice.
That's also going to be a really close race.
It is. This was a very close race up until Golden Ridge, and the auto-scroller skip kind of gave Millay a little bit of a trouble. Still really good, and
I died there as well one time.
Yeah. You were within, I think, 8 seconds of each other up until that part, though.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it was really close in the beginning. But still, nonetheless, really good run from both of you. We'll see if we can get Millay in here afterwards. I'm not sure if their mic is usable, because I'm pretty sure their stream said no mic and their audio wasn't coming through, which was the problem we had earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Millay's finishing up. Anything else you want to say right now, Psyched? Are you psyched for the tournament?
You know, I always get that joke in the interview. And yeah, I am psyched for the next race. I'm going to go against Gross Icon.
I wanted to use it last time, but I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Understandable.
Oh, Millay just
Right, GG Millay.
see if we can get Millay in here now. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure if they'll be able to, but we'll see. Still, really good race overall. Millay ended at a 36-35.
Ooh, he sure is rusty.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. This is a game. If you take any time off, it can be really nerve-wracking to try to come back to.
Yeah, I mean, it's 90% muscle memory, and it's really hard to be consistent when you don't play it every day.
Very true. I wonder if we can get Millay.
I think he didn't write anything in the chat.
I'm not 100% sure. I feel kind of bad. Let's see. Oh no! I marked it as done. So sad. Oh. I don't think we're going to be able to get Millay in here, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
That's not a big deal. I mean,
he doesn't have to.
Yeah. It's all about following up. Well, before we cut it, is there anything else that you'd like to say to the audience, other than good race to both of you?
I mean, I just want to thank you guys for watching. It's always great to run when people are watching. It's just more fun, in my opinion. And also thank you to for commentating the race.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And then, again, good game to both of you. If you guys enjoyed the race on either of them, give both of them a follow. And I don't think we're going to be able to get Millay because they went offline. But it's all right. It's okay. All right. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and cut it here. Psyched. Again, good game. Good luck in your next race. I'll see if I'm free next weekend to commentate it if it is next weekend.
Oh, that would be great.
All right. Good luck moving forward to everyone here. I hope you enjoyed the race and have a wonderful rest of your day, guys and gals, and anybody else.